Hello everybody and welcome to our next writing assignments. And we will talk about technology and how it could be a two-edged sword in the sense of it could be a force for good or a force for evil. Okay, outline is we'll talk about what ethics is. We'll ask why we want to do that here. We'll ask what it has to do with computer science, and then we'll focus in specifically on artificial intelligence. Okay, so what is ethics? There are all sorts of definitions of ethics for this class. Ethics are morals in action. Now, your morals are your guiding principles of behavior. Examples, the Ten Commandments, or a lot of professional societies have codified what they consider their values. Now, ethics is when you take your morals and you apply them to a given situation. And I have the example of Luke 3, and we will go through that really quickly. And you notice that they talked about what should we do or what shall we do. Ethics is something you do. Now, they say, what should we do? He's talking about the crowds in general. He says, whoever has two tunics, share one with that who has food to do likewise. Now, the action is sharing food or sharing clothing. The value is charity. Now, tax collectors also has said, what should we do? Now, most people of that day would tell them, well, you need to get another job. There's no way you can do your job ethically. But he said, collect no more than you're authorized to do. So there is an ethical way to be a tax collector, and I'm sure that was some reassurance to them. Then the soldiers came up to him and also asked the same thing, what should we do? And he said, don't extort money and don't be content with your wages. Now, both the tax collectors and the soldier, the common thread is thou shalt not steal, but it shows up being applied in different ways, and that's the idea of ethics. Okay, ethics is expressly expressed as a code of ethics or code of conduct. We have the Ten Commandments. For computing, you have the ACM Society's Code of Ethics. Health Physics Society also has a code of ethics, and your chosen career probably has a code of ethics. You say, well, I haven't decided my major or my career yet. Well, this is your opportunity to explore one in detail. Enjoy it. Okay, so to paraphrase World War II, is this trip necessary? Okay, why should we consider ethics at CSU? There's an old life insurance commercial that says life comes at you fast, and ethical questions often come at you fast, and if you haven't thought about them before, you may have difficulty arriving at the right decision, because a lot of times with ethics you have to weigh different values and decide what is the highest value. Also, my personal experience from 40 years in the workforce is ethics can get you fired quicker than anything else. Now here at CSU, we are trying to prepare you for work in lifetime. We're not trying to train you for the next job. And to prepare you for work in lifetime, you need to have a framework for action based on your morals, which are based on, in our case as Christians, they're based on the Bible. Okay, why consider ethics in computer science? Computers don't have any ethics themselves, or supposedly, yet. Well, computer science affects everyone. There's not anybody in modern society that is not affected by a computer. Ethics also affects everyone. For Christians, we study how to behave ethically, and it's required that everything we should do should be for the glory of God. Now, various professionals have come up with codes of what is right behavior for their profession. You probably have one for the profession that you're planning to either go in or planning to expand your career. Some employers have a code of ethics that if you work at this job, if you work at this place environment, these are what our values are, and you need to follow them. And this goes back to where I said ethics can get you fired. Okay, how does ethics apply in computer science? And it's really kind of amusing for me because way back when in the boomer days, when computers first started out, we said computers never lie and computers are never wrong. And that might seem very highly amusing in the 21st century, but back then they basically weren't smart enough to make a wrong guess, or they weren't smart enough to get anything wrong. Now that we've improved them, they can get things wrong. They can have their prejudices, they can have their illusions, they can have their delusions. Anyway, well, And it turns out that computers are a two-edged sword in the sense that they have a really, really great potential for doing great things, and they have. And they have a great potential for harm. Now, equally as great or greater, I don't know. That's another question, but not for this assignment. So, getting back to ethics, being morals in action, your question is what does the Christian faith consider ethical, and what does your professional community consider ethical? And these views compatible? And at this point in time, you're saying, well, since ethics are values in action, you have to give me a situation. And I'm glad you said that. Here you go. The situation I've given you is the impact of artificial intelligence on your career field. And, this being a Christian university, we would like you to look at it from a Christian ethical perspective. Okay, this is kind of continuation of earlier assignments. This class is actually Introduction to Computers Through Robotics. You had one earlier where you related computers to your timeline, then you explored the various computer careers, and you either decided you won't have anything to do with it or you really like it, but that was up to you. What we'll do here is we'll talk about a very topical, a very timely topic. Everybody's talking about AI. It's kind of like the weather. It seems like everybody's talking about a lot. Not a lot of people are doing something about it in some cases. And you'll have a chance to talk about this topic and how it affects you personally in your chosen career. Now, if you are still trying to find your way, what's your major career here, here's an opportunity to explore it. Okay, the objectives is to understand the impact of artificial intelligence on your career field. And then once you find those ethical impacts, you can reflect on those and apply your Christian ethical principles. Now, as way of contrast, I would also like you to find out what your secular professional society code is, ACMA, AMA, or whatever, and contrast what Christianity tells you to do that with what your professional society tells you. I would suspect that they were largely the same, but I've been surprised before. Okay, overview, I think we've kind of said that. Okay, requirements. First of all, do the research. What is AI doing in your chosen career field? You probably need to know that anyway. Research Christian ethical principles. You've probably been doing that for a lifetime, and but it's one of those cases. It seems like a review never is out of place. And I don't know whether you've looked at the professional code of ethics for your profession, but if you haven't, now's a good time to do it. If you have, well, now's a good time to go over it again. And I'd like you to prepare an essay, 3 to 5 pages, not to include a citation page that includes an introduction, the impact of AI on your chosen field, analysis of those impacts from the Christian ethical principles and from the professional ethic principles. So take a little time to see, are these compatible, are they the same, and how are they different? And then write a conclusion about what you've learned about the impact of AI on your chosen field. Now, I have the details of these and the assignment itself, but this is intended to be an overview. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we come up to everybody's favorite slide. Yes, we do. Okay, if there's questions, hit me up, and I will talk with you later.